I think it was probably a pretty solid performance from our men. I think we were able to execute the game plan that we wanted to, and we had a couple opportunities to score. In the game. I think the forward pass for the Fiji try was a pivotal moment in the game. Was actually a very good defensive play. It was a forward pass, so I kind of wiped that one off the board, to be honest. I think the defense did their job, and then nonetheless, we should have taken our opportunities there. So we'll look to just be better inside the 22 this week in terms of converting. Just for us in terms of the opportunities, just one was just a lost ball in the lights, on a line out, and that happens. That it's part of the game. And then another one was just an opportunity kind of gone begging, where we had someone right in front of the ruck we could have run at, and we saw something else. So we won't dwell on it too much. We just kind of look at it and say, we'll keep the ball next time and work our way in.
I've been looking at a bunch of the stats. The offensive stats for USA in the tournament aren't great. I think partly because not a lot of points this last game, so that sort of drags you down. Meters gains, line breaks, all that stuff. You're lower down in the list of 6 teams, but I get the sense that it's all fairly close. What are are there little things, Greg, maybe I can ask you this, are there little things that make the difference between, a line break and not, or executing in the 22 and not?
It's probably just comes down to decision making at times. I think sometimes we probably get stuck in maybe thinking about it too much and then becoming overthinking instead of just playing naturally and playing the way we want to play. And then other times it's just down to execution. At test level, it comes down to the 1-2 percenters. If one person, happens to miss their clean, then they're over the ball just like that. So I think it just comes down to probably those 2 points, and we worked really hard this week on those points specifically. And I think we'll make some. I hope to think that we'll make some big shifts this weekend around it.
All right, Scott. A couple of things maybe to target. Again, looking at the stats, target Samoa. They're not great in the lineout. They're not great at scrum time, and overall things have been pretty good for USA on that level. So would you have an opportunity to launch from set piece in this game? What are sort of the things you think you can do, the things you need to do to be able to do that?
I think just execute consistently on our own ball, I think, is important to start off. So when we get possession, is to hold on to possession. And then every team has some tells in what they do at set piece time, and it's just making sure we're switched on for when those pictures present themselves, and I would take advantage of it. So I think we'll go for that. I think you just have to be careful around past stats when teams are together. They're just getting together for 3-4 weeks. There's a lot of things that can change in the course of a week in international rugby. So we don't look too far back on that stuff. We just kind of look for some things that will probably be common in both games.
Okay. Yeah, just sort of following on that, I'm looking for tendencies, though, and I'll get off the stats thing in a second, but Samoa seems to do really well just winning their own rucks. It just, that's one of the things that scores very well for them. So when a team has good continuity, do you adjust to that and say, look, hey, we're not going to worry too much about the jackal, we're just going to defend and spread? Or again, do you just say, hey, we defend the way we defend, we attack that ball the way we do it?
Yeah, I mean, I think with that, I know we back our defensive system and the way that we run our system right now. So the key thing is not to get bored with a team that holds on to the ball that you're playing against, right? It's just to keep your discipline and, again, don't get bored with it. Just keep getting off the line.
We talked a lot about just the length of the assembly and getting games in. For both of you, I think what is something that you can say, hey, we're way better at this now?
I would say, what can we say?
Everything.
Is there something to say we're not better at? From
Yeah.
together? That's probably the harder question,
Yeah.
Alex.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I guess that's it. You know, are you still find stuff that needs work?
Yeah,
Yeah.
always. I think, when the thing to kind of like piece together when you're thinking about international play is a team comes together. There's learning how to, even though you've been together in the past, if you're away for 7 months, you learn how to communicate with each other. At first, it's about getting the big rocks right. And then the more time you spend and the more you look at each other and work with each other, the more you realize the details that can improve. So it's kind of like peeling an onion, so to speak. You just keep finding new layers. And um, the best part about sport is that it's a constant improvement environment. So you're always looking not only in gameplay, but the way that you operate, the way that you communicate, the way you do meetings, the way you travel. It's a consistent improvement mentality all the time.
Greg, what about you? What about even just sort of the guys need time together and how important that is?
Yeah, we're learning. The team's learning to be better as a team together, like on the pitch and off the pitch. I think at the start of the camp, we were stuck in some cliques and stuff like that with people who people hanged out with. But after those 2-3 weeks and then a week in Japan, I think everyone found their groove. Everyone's hanging out with everyone, playing cards each night. Really just building connections, which I think has been helping on the pitch also. But then also those connections in terms of learning connections too. Everyone learns differently, and there's been a lot of the rookies or the less cap blokes coming in and asking for hand and favors and looking in film, and then also just boys taking on themselves in terms of creating their own film study and bringing boys into the team room and operating around that. So the time together is always unreal, and it always builds up massively in every way. So, I wish we could have more time, but yeah, I think everyone's getting sick of each other too.
Yeah, well, I bet. All right, well, one more on personnel. Um, Scott, first of all, Mitch Wilson at wing. That's an interesting thing. Toby did pretty darn well in his debut, so be interesting, to hear what you want to see from that backline combination, especially Mitch Wilson, and then Peyton Talialalio gets his first look in a game day 23. So what have you seen from him in camp?
Yeah, I think with Mitch and Toby, Mitch has been playing a lot of on the right wing, for New England this year. And he's a very good shutdown defender and a backfield operator. He's got a high work rate. So we liked what we saw from Toby last week. He's a big body in the back, especially when it comes to countering a contestable kicking game. And we like Mitch's edge defense and communication. So I think with Nate being out this week with injury, it made sense. And Mitch was always going to come into the squad after resting him last weekend. It was always part of the plan was to bring him back in. So it just happened to go that way. And then Peyton is another one of the younger players that we invited to see what we were working with and to start his journey as to be a future potential Eagle. And he's come along really well. He's done a lot of work with the team. He's 4 weeks more conditioned than he was when he came in, and that's a huge part of it. And he's hung right in there at set piece. So I think when you look at Peyton, I get excited by the potential of what he can offer, and you have a ball carrying, ball playing front row. And when you can add that into the mix next to a hooker, it opens up your attack. It gives you options to do more things. So that part about Peyton is exciting, and I think he'll go well tomorrow, and we'll be able to use that, in the future.